Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all the geeks out there in our little geekdom, and welcome to another Our Little Geekdom. Yes, this is episode number 43.
And yes, he's back.
And I have returned from the sickbed. Look at me, I'm alive. I'm alive and talkative, and I'm not dying. Sorry for those of you who wanted to see that. Anyway, yes, we have a special guest here today. It is the one... Do you want to say something?
I think he was laughing.
Okay. We have a very special guest here today. This special guest is none other than the one, the only, Bill Masuku. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
I was like, we're doing this. You're like, hi.
Well, that's because he's used to it, because he appears on panels and on stage, and people always cheer, and he's just like, hi.
The Queen's Wave.
I can hype it up. Hey everybody! Thank you so much for having me. This is such a pleasure to be here. This feels fake, so I'm gonna stop. Thank you. It's always good. It's always good to see your faces. Like watching episodes is one thing, but like I miss having like in-con chats, or just being able to just walk around and wave and see friendly faces. It's been a while, so it's good to see you.
Yeah, it is kind of hard without being without being able to go to the cons and stuff like that and actually, sit and chat to people and things like that. I agree with you 100% there. Unfortunately, we don't get to go to the same cons as you guys anymore because we're all the way up here in Scotland. So it makes life a little bit more difficult for us.
Yeah.
But we will still be making our way back.
Yeah, we will. We'll make our way back. Sorry. I've got it.
We have to go to South Africa. It's where we're from, and we have to see our con friends and all of that. So we will return for some festivals.
Yeah, come back for some of the festivals and stuff. I hear the whispering. Yeah.
But anyway, for those of the people who don't know you, tell us a bit more about who you are and what you do.
Like this is one of those questions that's like so broad, and then when you get it, it's like, who am I actually? And like there's the gap between who I am and what I do. I'll try juggle those two as best as possible. I am Bill Masuku. Obviously, you introduced me. I am I want to say Southern African content creator because I'm from Zim, but a lot of my work is in South Africa. Yeah. Born and raised in Harare, Zimbabwe. I drew from a very young age, as most artists do. It'll be weird to find out that you can draw like when you're 22, because like you've settled into your personality already. But for me, I guess as soon as I was like four or so, I was drawing. Got into anime fairly early as well, and then it's just been like failing upwards since then. I went to Rhodes University in South Africa, so lots of drinking, self-exploration and stuff like that there. And then when I came back to Zim, I decided I wanted to just draw full time, which good mistakes, because there's no like local content creator industry here. So as much as I'm drawing, I'm also like networking and building and talking to people and being like, hey, what's your skill set? How can we collaborate? Blah blah blah. And eventually, I ended up working at this company called Kugali in Nigeria. They make some dope stuff, and then recently started working on some secret Netflix project. So that's the summation. If you want like one paragraph of what I am and who I am. So yeah.
And you write books too.
Yes. And
damn. And I write books. Yeah, so at one of these Comic Cons, I know on any given day,
I'm a writer.
It's hard. It's hard sometimes. It's easier to forget. Because writing is so hard, guys. Like drawing is easy. Like everyone's just like, oh, 2 likes. You can't post like a paragraph on Instagram and get likes. No one cares about your paragraph on Instagram.
People
I
are too
wrote
lazy
books.
to read these days.
People are too lazy to. Everyone's like make an audiobook. I'm like, how? I got shit audio quality, so like, I'm just doing my best.
I'm doing my best,
Yes,
God
I
damn
write 2 books. I'm doing my best. God damn it. I've got 2 books out right now. Misfortunism and the sequel Psychophagy. Kind of sad books, because they're mostly about my university experience. But yeah, I kind of put a twist on it by making like adding magic to the thing, so it's not an autobiography. I am just trying to complete a 20,000 word book, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anything else I've forgotten, please remind me.
You're the creator of Captain South Africa.
Oh god damn it. Like
God damn it, you guys.
You guys, come on. Right, so when I was in South Africa, maybe in 2013, I was like, I want to make superheroes, but like I don't know what kind of superhero I want to make. And South Africa is just such a cool place just to live and think about and fantasize about. That sounds nasty. Don't take that out of context. And so my first superhero was Captain South Africa, and it was just this like buff black dude in spandex, and I'm like, what am I doing? I spent like 2 issues just like not knowing what I wanted to write about, and eventually after dating a couple of people, they changed my like introspection and my view on the world. So I was like, you know what, these people are kind of inspiring, the people I dated. And so it kind of shifted the way I wanted to write books, because now I had something to say. And so I took that inspiration and put it on the page, and I was like, okay, cool. Captain South Africa is now a woman. It's not like I gender bent him or whatever. No, there's a successor. So the buff dude, he's still alive and well. I was just like, the world continues onwards with this new story, because I hate reboots. Kind of. Yeah, no, I hate reboots. I don't wanna go on like a 20-minute tangent about
you know what, I
rebooting a
100% agree
universe.
with you, dude. I don't like people who reboot things. You do a reboot and you screw it up. That's the whole thing, because it'll never be what it was if you reboot it. So don't bother. Just do something new. 100% agree. The world carries on. I like your take on that.
It's better than Captain South Africa 2.0.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, oh man, so a lot of people, especially local content creators, are trying to make universes in their stories, and it's like, bro, just make one thing for a long time rather than try to work out how space works in your universe, especially if you're working out of like Brakpan. Like, if Brakpan is the center of your story, we shouldn't worry about aliens. Like, just work on making as real of a Brakpan as possible. That's always my policy.
Well, that would be the best.
No
way
shade to
do
Brakpan.
it.
Yeah.
No can be but that can be the universe.
Yeah. Like there's lots of cartoons that. Oh, sorry.
No, it's not your fault. She was busy bumping my mic.
It can be Bractonia or Bractania or Bractopia.
Or
Yes. Bractopia. Okay, that's more accurate. Now you're making a documentary, sir.
Isn't that sort of the idea?
No, we do superheroes now, not documentaries.
Okay,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
We'll call him what? Buck, the hero of Kakpan. There you go. It's now a superhero.
The hero superpower is the PK.
One massive boost clap. For those of you who live in Scotland, if you don't know what a boost clap is, it's a really hard smack that can knock you down. He just slaps you once in the face and you fall over. It's called a boost clap. Yes, you can swear. You can swear.
You hear KO in the distance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Swear,
yes. Okay.
Swear. It's we don't hide swearing on our channel.
Our editor tried, but then after a while he realized it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it wasting your time trying to stop me from swearing, because I generally I will pop off a couple every once in a while. I mean, I'm not as bad as some people on YouTube, but you know, I do swear, so and I'm not going to stop other people from swearing. If that's what you do, you do it. I'm not censoring you, Mabry.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, so you can call it a puss club.
It's a puss club. I'm also foreign, so like I don't want to mispronounce nothing. Like I'm still trying to learn some of the vernacular. As,
Dude, I'm a Soti. Yeah, I'm a Soti, bro. So speaking Afrikaans for me is not exactly the forefront of what I do. I always mispronounce Afrikaans.
Yeah,
you're an artist.
Like
you should make a Dr. Vernacular or like an evil vernacular person.
It was when Trevor Noah was still funny, yeah.
Spoilers.
We're spoiling what he's gonna do. It's a secret.
I'm sorry.
Like, no, it's all good. Like anytime I see the South African news, I'm like, oh, that's a new idea. Like there was that one time, there was that pastor. He was spraying his congregation with like doom bug spray.
Oh yes, I remember that.
like blessed doom. Immediately, I was like, this is a plot line for the pastor of doom, and I'm like, yes,
yeah.
This is so easy to write content in South Africa.
Dude, just watch South African politics for a day. You'll have 2 years of content.
Oh man. So I used to be a stand-up comedian, and yeah, like for training, we just like watch the news, because like half of it is current affairs, and the other half is like putting a spin on it.
Yeah.
I think it was also Trevor where it was like, politicians are taking our jokes, because they just like at what point are you not just a news reporter?
Yeah, I remember John Fliss was saying that as well.
Yeah.
It was very
comedy. It was damn hilarious. It was fucking hilarious. Comedy was a bit wild in terms of my career, because I hadn't planned on being a comedian. I was in comedy for 3-4 years, and so I'm sitting in one of my management tutorials. Fuck you, cat. Sitting in one of my management tutorials. I have FOMO. No one's bumping my microphone. I don't know what metaphor that's for, but
wow,
it's so hard. It's so hard being a comedian, because damn, like all the jokes are taken, right?
Yeah.
All the good jokes, and the way the audience is changing over time.
Yeah.
So I guess like the best comedy that I've experienced is just talking about yourself and putting yourself into your work, and that's exactly the same with like comic book work.
Yeah.
Which is why I messed up with the first Captain South Africa. It was basically like the equivalent of a knock-knock joke. Guy loses his parents, puts on a costume. Like you're not doing anything new, but like when you start putting yourself into your work, that's when I wouldn't say it's getting better. It just means it's more authentic,
Yeah, I get what you mean. You see, that really is the very big difference between what I do and what you do, because I'm not talking about content creation. I'm talking about my other thing that I do, that I've done my entire life. I don't ever actually inject myself into the songs or the music. I just, when I create the songs and stuff like that, it's someone else, but it's something that I've experienced, so I have experience with it. So, that's how I work. So, and also I
mean
like
that's also
good.
I mean,
anyway,
sir, please, there's cats on this channel.
I know the cats. You got.
Yeah, it's...
Won't somebody think of the cats?
Nobody thinks of the cats anymore. Release the butthole cut of cats.
Well, no, he's right there.
Oh. It's so silly. It's so silly. I didn't actually watch the movie Cats.
Oh God, dude!
Heard lots of things about it.
Anyone who likes cats, like the animal, anyone who likes those, will never watch the movie or the show, because it's so stupid.
I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah, Kez is kind of stuck giving him attention. Dude, his face. I mean, he's got one of these. That's what he looks like. He's literally smiling like that. It's a weird cat. Anyway, cat and one of our other cats has decided to push through the door. Hopefully the black one won't now. Oh god, we're going to be accosted by cats today. I can see it already. We'll get through this show, I promise. We will definitely get through the show.
Who's the real guest here? Who's the real guest? It's the cats.
It's the cats. No, well, no, they're just part of the show. They're actually co-hosts.
Uh-huh.
They're the extras that we hired to walk past.
Yeah, it's the way it goes. so yeah. Oh god, my brain just broke. I think I just popped a fuse. Can anyone see steam coming out of my ears?
So put steam there.
I swear there's smoke coming out of my ears. I've literally just forgotten what the hell I was trying to say. You were trying to say something though, before the cats interrupted.
Was I?
I don't know. I think you were. See, this is a problem with getting into these things. You forget so quickly.
Oh, I remember.
Ah, there we go.
I remember. It was you were saying that you don't inject yourself into your work, and that is definitely a healthier approach, because art or creativity, when someone criticizes something that you've made and you've put time into, if you've put a lot of yourself in it, you can't distinguish between your work is shit and you are shit. That's the same sentiment.
Well,
but
yeah.
if you didn't put yourself in there, then it's like, okay, cool, I'll just get better, or okay, let's scrap that and move on to something new. It's a very, very healthy thing to not put yourself into your work. It's two approaches, but you end up with quality either way if you have the skill.
Yeah, it just depends on what you do. I mean, if you inject yourself into the work, you can actually come up with you can come out with a decent amount of quality. It just depends on how you do it. I mean, if you do it stupidly and you if you do it the wrong way, it makes you look like a complete tit, and it just basically your entire writing career is done because no one's going to watch you or read your comics after that. You'd have to change your name and do a different pseudonym, and it wouldn't work like that. I mean, most people would be very upset with something like that. So I get where you're coming from, but if you do it well, then you'll be praised for it. And that is the thing. You will actually be praised for it if you do it the correct way. So
I also need to disagree with you. It's going back not about putting yourself into the work and stuff, but when you started your introduction and you said that you can't at 22 realize that you're good at drawing, because I realized at the age of 30 that I was good at drawing, and I didn't really draw before that. So ha.
Yeah, dude.
Joke's on me.
I debunk your theory.
That's Kez.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much you selling it for?
Not, that's mine.
That's a Christmas present.
Yeah. That's a Christmas present from Kez. So
I don't sell my drawings. I just do them when I can and when I feel like it.
Yeah.
I need to get myself an acoustic because I have to start writing some music again.
But I was 30 when I started drawing, and then I started practicing and getting good at it. So
yeah.
Thank you.
I just had to throw that in. I just had to throw that in there.
It's also, exactly what you're saying. For anyone who's just starting out now, a lot of actors and musicians made their break at 45.
I'm not trying to make a break.
Sometimes, oh man. No, I hear you. So I was talking to a friend the other day and was basically like, what if the thing you're destined to be good at, your intrinsic skill set, hasn't been invented yet? So let's say it's the 1600s.
Jeez, that's a good point.
You're born and you are built to be an astronaut. You can handle G-force. You can strategize at in three-dimensional space in your head because you're able to float like that in your mind. But there's space travel is far away from being invented. So you just are born and you die never having never having been able to reach your full potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree.
Like,
Like what
so-
about deep space travel, for example? You know, I mean that will not happen for
Exactly.
a long time. At least not the way that or not the intrinsic way that you'd expect it to happen now. Like, you know, I mean, you look at the video games that we have. We've got things like X and Everspace and Star Citizen and all those kinds of games. That kind of space travel, it's working in. I mean, you're flying in all different directions. You have to learn how to control land ships and stuff like that, and it takes practice. But in reality, that's not even vaguely coming close to that. We don't have anything like that yet. It would be nice, but we don't. You know, and that's the sad truth about it. Yeah, we still got cars. You know, that's as far as it goes.
I want a car where you can push a button and then it'll just lift into the air and fly, and you don't.
We don't even have petrol. We don't even have petrol right now.
I don't think that's gonna happen for a long fucking time.
I know, but that's what I want. I just want to push a button so that you can, like, get to where you want to go faster, or if you're stuck in traffic, you can just press the button and then go where you need to go. But that's just my head.
So the Voetsek Traffic button.
Yeah, that should be called Voetsek Traffic. The VT button, not the VTOL, but the Voetsek Traffic. Because you know you got the VTOL, which is the vertical takeoff landing system that is on aircraft at the moment. It's not the VTOL; it's just the VT. It's a Voetsek Traffic button. That is definitely a plus on my side. I like that. Switch VTOL out for Voetsek Traffic, definitely. That's good.
Yeah. Let's do it. No, let me write that down. That's a good comic idea. Let me just give me Voetsek.
Voetsek
I hope this note makes sense later. Voetsek Traffic. I hope you know when you read something later and it's just like, what the hell does that even mean?
What the fuck was I writing there? I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel.
Your first thought would just go, oh no, I was in traffic and I got annoyed with it, so I just decided to write down Voetsek Traffic.
Voetsek Traffic. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but I understand that. I think it's a clever idea, but I mean, you know, we've still got to get through the stage of actually designing a proper flying car. You know, they've got cars that can fly.
Yeah.
They've got a car that can fly, but and they want to put it into production now. But how expensive is that bloody thing going to be? You know, it's not. I don't think it'll be worth it, and you'd have to have a whole completely different license because remember, it's a flying vehicle. It means it is now an aircraft.
You need a pilot's license.
Exactly. It is a flying vehicle, which means it's now an aircraft. What license do you need to fly an aircraft? People don't think about that. It's like, oh yeah, cool. Can have these guys that designed the car. Clever idea. Design a flying car. I think it's a brilliant idea. Very, very well thought out. But did you think about the logic behind how that's going to work? You know, the vehicle is no longer a car. It is actually a hybrid of a car and a jet, or a car and an aircraft, which means you actually have to now have a different license and all that stuff designed for it. Because, believe me, a lot of people are not going to be able to fly, and they will crash, and it will be devastating crashes.
Will crash.
You know, that's what people also don't realize is devastating crashes, not just a simple crash. If this car goes off wrong, you could fly into a house and kill a whole bunch more people.
He was gonna say a bunch of morons.
A bunch of
morons.
Sir.
Well, I would have said a bunch of morons. I was actually trying to say because you're a moron.
Well, it was close enough.
Because yes, I have an issue with moron drivers.
Close
I
enough.
really do.
So I heard on Twitch, not Twitch, sorry, on Twitter. I think it was last week that, and unfortunately I couldn't listen to the whole thing, but you were having a little chat on Twitter about about writing in Zimbabwe, and getting your books and stuff out there, and it sounded quite interesting. So what made you decide to go onto Twitter and start that discussion?
That's a good That's a good question. However, I don't have a good answer. So I do a lot of things on a whim. I don't think anyone wakes up and they're like, I wanna draw, I wanna draw a buff black dude in spandex. That's not a thought normal people have.
Wow.
Yeah, I just
You may just have been the first to get to it.
fair. Yeah, no, I just decided I had some things to talk about, and I unfortunately I can't host a podcast like some people. So I was just like, let me just jump on Twitter for a bit and just speak my mind and then log off, and then that was like, they were so, you know what, the truth is a lot of bad things happened that week work wise. Just trying to figure out what the future of the industry looks like based on what I've seen over the last 5 years and where we are right now. It's very difficult to collaborate. It's very difficult to put your stuff into bookstores because we don't have comic book shops here. You have to like know the bookshop owner personally, and anytime you try to pitch like, oh, I want to put in maybe Kwezi, right? Imagine Kwezi just came out, Kwezi, South African superhero comic, and there was no comic book shops. You would have to tell them, no, I want you to remove Harry Potter space for Kwezi space. And I've said this so many times, it doesn't matter when the Harry Potter books are going to sell, they will sell. But there's the risk that the bookshop is taking on with this unknown property by a local guy that no one knows, right? And between the distribution, between the collaboration, between just, and as a comic book reader, the people who are coming to your stuff already consume the best content. So they're reading Japanese manga, they're reading like top tier DC Marvel books, and so when they see yours, that's usually their only point of reference. So they're not looking at the story or like what you're building towards. It's like, this is garbage because all the other stuff I see in this genre, is top tier, like very crisp line art, the coloring is popping. But you look at like someone who's just doing everything by themselves, as doing between like editing, recording, doing the claps and everything. There's so much that goes into producing one singular unit of content. So when it comes to comic book, it's like writing, scripting, the penciling, inking, coloring, going to the print shop, figuring out why your blue on the screen is different from your blue on the page. No one tells you that. You need to figure that shit out. And all the other stuff just for you to put your book on sale and someone to say, well, this is shit. And again, the thing I was saying earlier, you put in a lot of yourself into making this thing. You don't hear the book as shit. You hear everything that you're attempting to do your whole life up until this moment is shit. And it's just like, why am I even doing this?
That is true.
Yeah. It's very sad, but it's true.
Yeah. It's sad but true. I mean, the upside, not to be a dubile downer, is that, so the barriers to entry, I think that was how I opened the Twitter space thing. The barriers to entry for comic book artists are microscopic. If you decide you have a good idea that's worth putting on paper, worth sharing, worth putting online, it's the gap between you not doing it and you doing it is like pencil strokes. Just drawing doesn't even have to be good. Some of the best stories in the world have garbage art. One Punch Man, one of the best anime out there. If you go look at the manga or the original manga, this guy, he basically drew on like pencil scribbles on napkins.
Yeah.
He felt his characters and story was strong enough, and people were just like, we're gonna follow this because this is funny. This is cool.
Yeah.
This is a great concept. And eventually, when he got picked up, they got a new artist on it. Then he got animated. So like, you just work towards your dream. Say like, fuck all the barriers. Fuck what people's opinion. I believe in my idea. I believe in either my film, in my game, in my social media content creation. Just continue to do it. A following will come. May not be the following you want, but you would rather have. Exactly. You would rather have like a solid 100 listeners or 100 followers, 100 readers, or versus like 1 million bots on your account anytime you post, just saying, look at what I posted. Zaddy, look at my DMs and my no. You really want 100 solid readers, just being like, this is great. where to next? When's the next one? How can we support? Where's your Patreon? You know, give us a link. Where can we buy this in stores, Amazon, whatnot? And so very much on the upside, believe in yourself. I guess that's the corniest thing I've said today.
It may
Believe
be
in yourself.
corny, but it's true.
Believe in the ball. Throw yourself.
Yes, honorable speaker.
It is true though. You shouldn't really care about what other people think. If there is something you want to do, you should just get up and do it. And if you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. But at least at the end of the day, you can say you tried.
Yeah. That is the most important thing. At least you
I
can
fail
say
all
you
the
tried.
time.
I think we all do.
I think I know a single person that hasn't.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, anyway, aside from your own comics and your own books and things like that, what is there anything interesting that you've been reading lately?
Oh man, let me pull up my reading list of stuff that people can actually access legally. So the Shonen Jump website. hey, this is a Prime channel. We don't distribute illegal links here. On the Shonen Jump website, there's some really great bangers that just dropped. I don't actually know what the names of the thing, because sometimes Japanese throws me off. But there's a story. Hang on, let me backtrack a little bit. So a lot of like books that I read are like super powered. I've got a demon inside me. I'm trying to tame that energy, like Dragon Ball Z. My Hero Academia, etc. But sometimes I like to pick up like a slice of life book, just because there's something very rich about the way the Japanese tell like grounded dramas. And the one that I picked up, looking for the name, so it's called Akane Banashi, and it's about like it's a type of performance that happens in Japan. I'm learning it through the book. And again, like when Japan decides to teach you something, they will teach you something in the book. And they do like one-man show performances. Like they will sit and then they will like describe a drama. There will be all the characters. They'll make the sound effects. They'll sing, and that's a whole profession in Japan. And that's what the book is about, effectively. And I am so engaged. This is the more I'm engaged. There's 6 chapters out, and I'm far more engaged in this than any other superhero comic that I've read today. And I'm having a good time just reading about one-man show performance artists.
Nice.
Anything else? Homesick Pilots. It's an indie comic book about ghosts that like possess houses and artifacts, and then you fuse with the artifact etc. and you embody like the memories of the ghost. The art for that is phenomenal. One more recommendation: Lookism on Webtoons. It comes out every Sunday. I haven't read today's chapter, but Lookism is one of those things where if I tell you about it, it ruins the plot. But we're here to ruin plots and lives and cats. So the basic premise of Lookism is that there's a kid who's being bullied, and bullying in Korea is vastly different from anywhere else in the world. He's being bullied, and he decides to switch schools. And when he switches schools, he falls unconscious, and he wakes up and he's got 2 bodies now. One body that's like a male model, and then his regular body, which is like short and fat. And so he has to juggle these 2 lives effectively. And that's just the start of the story. It kicks into this like street gang, fashion show, martial arts, deep trauma, cult following. Like it branches into so many genres that I'm just like I'm confused but entertained. I'm confused but entertained. So if you have a chance to pick up a comic, one of those 3 definitely. Legally, of course, support the creators, etc. I need to add that disclaimer. What are you guys reading?
I read books.
Came from my whole career.
I'm still busy with the Northman's Fury. It's basically history. It's Viking history that I'm busy reading at the moment. Just like how they came and they slaughtered people up here in the UK, and how they're not the nicest people, no matter what people like to think. But it gives their lifestyle as it's called the Northman's Fury. But it tells you their lifestyle when they from not just when they came to raid here and how they got their asses handed to them by the one king. I forget his name. I always forget his name, but I think it was King George or something like that.
Henry?
But no,
George? One of those
not
two.
Henry. I don't think it was Henry. I think it was George. I can't remember. Someone will correct me in the chat anyway. But essentially, he conquered the Vikings and kicked them out of the country. But it's not just about that. It's about the Scandinavians. So, Vikings are like they were considered mercenaries or privateers. So they weren't really pirates, but they weren't really the good guy either, if that makes sense. The same as like when Spain, France, England, any of those countries used to go to war with each other. They used to have privateers that would go out and hassle those like the private ships and stuff like that, without any consequences from the crown. So essentially they could basically attack and loot other ships and take all their stuff and take the ships as well if they wanted to, and make their own stuff there, and they wouldn't be basically arrested by the crown and then hanged as pirates because they were privateers. So that's essentially the same thing that the Vikings essentially were, the ones that invaded the United Kingdom and actually attacked Scotland and Ireland and England and Wales, and they got there, and after a while they got their asses handed to them. But then you get to learn about the history of Scandinavia and how that actually happened. And I'm busy working through that part at the moment. That's the one book I'm reading, and then the other book I'm reading is a book called Escape from Mount Villepend. No one will have it, unfortunately, unless you're as lucky as I am. No one will have that book, as it is my mother's book. I'm busy reading that at the moment. It's a fantasy novel as well. It's also quite intriguing, and I'm going to start reading Remedy Feist's King of Ashes soon. So yeah, lots of books.
Dope. King Alfred.
King
with
of
the
Ashes. Alfred, thank you.
No, of Alfred.
Alfred, thank you. Alfred. It was Alfred the Great,
Word.
or Alfred the whatever the hell his name was.
One of those. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, King Alfred. And yes, he was the one who chased the people out of, or the Vikings out of England, and managed to basically stop them from causing cock anymore. Angel, you?
I'm reading I Hate Fairyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a one book wonder. She likes to read one at a time. She doesn't do what I do. I like read 5.
Well, I've got this the Egypt book that I still need to finish reading. The Egyptian, not Egypt,
Greek?
sorry, the Greek mythology book. The Egypt one was boring. The Greek mythology book I need to still finish reading, and then I need to finish the Horus Heresy, and then I need to finish Out of War. Very different books, but those are my books.
Word.
Yeah, very intellectual. The Art of War, very intellectual. It's when Kez gets like all intellectual, she starts reading the Art of War and her Greek mythology and stuff like that.
It's interesting. I like just to learn more about them and their times and stuff like that.
I've told her she should read the Iliad, but I don't know how well she'll be able to do with that, because the Iliad is very confusing. Even for the widest brains, it's not the easiest thing to understand. But I said she must try the Iliad, or maybe like an adaptation of the Iliad that's more understandable.
I will put it on my reading list.
Definitely that, and what was the other one? The Odyssey. You know who I'm talking about. Homer. Homer wrote the Odyssey and the Iliad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to read the Iliad first.
I didn't know. I didn't.
Sorry.
Oh, for real? No, I didn't know that Homer wrote the Iliad.
Yeah, he wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey actually. So hang on, one of the cats is fighting.
And no, this is not Homer Simpson.
Yeah, for those of you smooth brains, it's not Homer Simpson we're talking about. it's Homer, as in like the great poet Homer. Yeah, so he actually wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey, but what should actually be done is you should read the Iliad first, because that is basically the beginning of the story. It's where everything started. It's where Achilles and it's where Troy was actually attacked at first, and it was even before that where you actually get to see the life of Achilles and the life of Odysseus and just like see. You might want to go and check on that. And see who these these people of history were, the great warriors that fought in Troy and how Troy was destroyed and things like that. You also get to see that Homer was right about Troy, and people thought that Troy never existed. A lot of people thought that Troy never existed, but Troy actually does exist. They found the walls of Troy in Greece, so it's I think they actually found it in Croatia, but it's impressive. You find that I mean, if you just look at some of the history, you just get blown away by it. It's nice. Yeah. So and that's where it starts, the Iliad, and then obviously everyone knows the Odyssey because they I think they do Hercules through the Odyssey as well, or Hercules does the Odyssey as well. But essentially it's the same thing, but it's actually Odysseus's trials that he actually goes through. So very, very interesting concepts and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway, enough of me talking about bullshit like that. More about the Masuku. More about the Masuku man.
What else do you want to know?
Oh, that's not what we want to know. That's what everyone else wants to know.
Oh.
Although we're not live, so it's hard to ask questions.
I mean, so,
Where do you think Captain South Africa would rank amongst all the other superheroes out there?
Rank in terms of what?
Awesomeness.
Awesomeness. Like a 4 out of 10.
Thinks very lowly of it. So what you should do with Captain South Africa then is make them like one of the clumsy politicians.
That's kind of the direction I'm. So, oh man, it's so hard to write Captain South Africa because the decision I made was that she's a non-violent superhero, and I don't know what the hell that means. But
she's basically
doing my best to try.
She will give people hugs and ask them to stop fighting.
No, what I think.
Stop fighting.
Make her into like one of those one of the really like dumbass politicians that we that you have in South Africa, should I say? Like the ones that go, what's it?
You should get her to make to talk them to death. Make the just like have a long politician speech and just talk until they fall asleep
until they fall asleep. That could be her superpower. She talks people to sleep. We're obviously kidding. For those of you watching, we're obviously kidding.
Sure. Write this down. Right. Yeah.
Sure. While Bull writes this down, saying, "I'm gonna do this." Like I don't know who it was. It was one of the health ministers. They mentioned something recently that was just very stupid. I don't know what it was. Though. I mean,
that could be any day.
What is the Silverage heroes?
Oh, you really googling me, huh?
It's her job.
I wrote an article recently, just talking about some of my thoughts on where the Southern African comic book industry is going. And so in America, just for context, in America, the Silver Age of comics came immediately after the Golden Age. So the Golden Age was this splash of new superheroes out there. The Batmans, the Spider-Mans, everyone just blew out of the same era. And then there was like a cool down period where things needed to be revised or revisited for like newer audiences. Not so much a reboot, but just like a consolidation, because a lot of companies were now coming to. So like, who's this character, Shazam, or Captain Marvel, whatever you want to call him. He was in a different company, and like getting all of them under like a Marvel umbrella, or getting them all under a DC umbrella was that whole Golden Age period. So from like the 70s onwards, now Batman and Superman were part of like the Justice Society and the Justice League, and like we had a new Green Lantern who wasn't. Oh, the first Green Lantern.
Lame?
Was weird. I didn't want to say that. I might work there one day. The Silver Age was really just like new readers coming in, new publishing line, etc. Right, and a lot of people always refer back to that period where it's like that is the birthplace of comics. The Golden Age just kicked it off, but like really where people started collecting books and really falling into a fandom. Like upper level geekdom was the Silver Age.
Yeah.
So for us in Southern Africa, we haven't been making comic books that long, but there is a distinct era change, and it's not like comic book companies consolidating. You have these comics like Kwezi, Captain South Africa, a whole bunch from Zambia, Zim, etc. But because of the era we're in, where a lot of things are being adapted to film or Netflix original series, the Silver Age for us means the silver screen. So there's a group of superheroes, not like the Avengers, like a group, like a collection, not a collection, a couple. There we go. Fuck. There's a couple of superheroes that have their own TV shows. Shadow on Netflix is a South African series. Jongo on Amazon Prime, also South African, but he visits Zimbabwe. There's a YouTube series about a Zimbabwean superhero. So like right now, it's like, sure, there's still comics coming out, but the next step for superhero fans, and like in America, you could say that the silver screen age was that first Robert Downey Iron Man. Like before that, they were just like indie superhero movies, but then when around 2008, like getting your film adapted or getting it onto screens, getting your comic adapted and put onto screens, that is the next step. And so for us, it's really scrambling with Netflix SA and being like, hey, here's this comic, it has a following, this is a proof of concept. The next step for us is making an 8-episode series. And I honestly think that's such a great push, because it'll assist a lot of intra-industry hurdles. So if you are now looking for content as a Netflix executive, sure, you can go read a book, right? But like with a comic book, the characters are already designed. You really have the world and architecture of the place set up, like prop design, etc. It's like a pitch bible in itself that you can just be like, here, adapt this. Like, don't change any words, just adapt this. Yeah. It's good as is, and you can use them as storyboards as like pre-production. So yeah, that for me, that's the Silver Age, moving onto screens, silver screens.
Yeah. Now I get it. Yeah. Look, to be honest, I don't really watch that many Hollywood things anymore anyway, but that's my own thing. I couldn't be bothered. I got better things to do with my time. I really do. So I get where you're coming from though, because there are certain things that like I do watch certain shows and things like that. You know, like I'll watch The Witcher, for example. I do think it's a very good show. And then there's like a couple of other decent shows that I'll watch.
You watched Shazam?
I liked Shazam. I thought Shazam was really funny. I thought it was very well written, actually. So I loved that. But I'm not a big Marvel DC fan anymore, as it were. I like to watch more of or if I'm going to watch or read any of the comics, it'll probably be more the anime side of things now.
Or even indie things. Yeah. But for example, I like Neon Genesis Evangelion.
We just finished the series.
Oh my
recently.
god, you're touching nerves.
Hey?
Did you watch the movie?
I haven't watched the movies yet. No, I haven't watched the movies yet. We've just finished the series though, so
watch the movie.
Yeah, well, watch
I'm
the
guessing
movies.
they're
Sorry.
quite good.
Sorry, like when I talk about like my origin into watching anime, I always mention Samurai X as Rurouni Kenshin as the first thing I ever watched.
Yeah.
But the first like sci-fi thing that got me into giant robots, Neon Genesis Evangelion. It was on Sci-Fi
Yeah, me
Channel
too.
on DSTV in South Africa.
Yeah, me too.
it-
Neon
wow,
Genesis Evangelion
wow.
was my first foray into Gundams and basically giant ass robots.
Yeah.
I used to love MechWarrior as a younger kid when I was playing games. So I used to love playing
Nice.
MechWarrior, but it was a very different kind of robot that was like a more straight robot that would turn like
Yeah.
a proper robot would. Whereas the Gundams are more like they're very agile. They're like you can fight with swords and you can pick up guns and shit like that. They were like just big ass versions of humans with little humans driving them. It was quite cool. So but Neon Genesis was my first.
I'd much rather watch that than go back to watching Yu-Gi-Oh again.
Yu-Gi-Oh sucks.
Yu-Gi-Oh and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but in my opinion, Yu-Gi-Oh is like Dragon Ball Z, where they take forever to get to the point of a story.
Actually, no, because Dragon Ball Z, watching the previous season that I was watching, it's actually faster paced. How sad is that? Dragon Ball Z, a show that we all know is not very fast paced because it's next time on Dragon Ball Z. You know you're
Dragon
gonna get
Ball
it.
closer.
Yeah, and you know you're gonna get it every single time, but it's still faster paced than Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is like you run through an episode and you're like, okay, get to the point. It's like he'll have a card battle for like 3 days. You're like, dude, put the cards down and win the fucking match. It's like Magic the Gathering, just more stupid. It's not that fucking hard.
Oh, man. But Yu-Gi-Oh, man, Yu-Gi-Oh. I could never get into Yu-Gi-Oh, but it did segue me into card gaming. So thanks,
Not me.
Thanks Yu-Gi-Oh for that.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, Magic the Gathering was my cousin actually got me started on Magic the Gathering, and then I stopped as well. I don't do Magic the Gathering anymore. I do, however, do some of the classic games like Star Trek CCG and Lord of the Rings CCG. I do those. I actually collected a whole bunch of cards there as well. Those are the ones that I definitely will keep collecting. Excuse me. Excuse that.
You're excused.
That was my hay fever cough, because I've got freaking hay fever now as well, which happens every spring.
Change of season?
Yeah, every spring I get this runny nose and the slight cough, and then sneezing.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was doing a Jim
So
Carrey there.
Aside from reading and stuff, is there any interesting PC games or console games or board games that you've played or that you're looking forward to playing? If you play any?
So for a long time I couldn't be a PC gamer, but just because my PC was so shit. So I've been a great fan of Let's Plays. Anytime anything comes out, like Death Stranding, when Death Stranding came out, I was like, man, I wish I could play this for myself. And I was watching someone who, I don't want to question their intelligence, but Death Stranding requires some thinking and some reading. And just watching them fuck up for like 20 hours, I was so mad. And I saw this game, Detroit Become Human. I don't know what year it came out. It's fairly recent, not like in the last year or so.
2015.
But Detroit Become Human is 15. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 2015.
So Detroit,
No, I think it's 2017.
Hang on.
2017. What?
Yeah, they spent 3 years working on it. I think it came out 2017.
2018.
Anyway, 2018.
April.
Yeah, 2018 was the release of the game.
So man, like I watched someone play through the whole game, and it's one of those games where it's your tailored experience because your decisions obviously start piling up, and the ending is like the first decision you make is to pick up a fish, either to leave it outside of out of the tank or put it in the tank, and you're like, this probably doesn't affect anything, and then you're like, oh, let me put the fish back in the tank. Immediately you see software instability because you're an android, and it's like you made a very human decision, and that nudges you to be, and I was like, bro, it's just a fish, and the rest of the game is just it's very intense decision making, and I was like, as soon as I get a good enough PC, I am getting Detroit. So maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, I told my brother, yo, please buy me this on Steam. He got it. Took me cock long to download it because download speed is a bit wild. So it was like 3 nights of just solid downloading. Jesus Christ. And then when it finally came, I was like, bro, I've never. Okay, that's a lie because I had dial-up internet. I watched downloads boil like pots. Yeah. Detroit Become Human. Fuck, man. Always.
I love that game.
It's a damn good game.
It's a damn good game. Before Detroit Become Human, I mean, I was always a gamer on some level. I don't know how much I can talk about illegalities, but I played a lot of.
Well, it depends.
Game Boy games.
What do you mean by illegalities? Do you mean like sailing the 7 seas?
Yeah, but yes.
But just stated as sailing the 7 seas.
Yeah, I was sailing the 7 seas, and I got a Game Boy, kind of, not really. And I downloaded I got a whole bunch of games for said Game Boy, and that was just my life for a while. I got really into figuring out what kind of gamer I was, and I ended up being like a tactics gamer. Like, oh man, so if you've ever played like Japanese role-playing games, like your Final Fantasies, your Golden Suns, blah blah blah,
big fan of
the level above that, Final Fantasy is amazing.
Yeah, I love my JRPGs.
But the level above that, yes, JRPGs for the future. Except for Final Fantasy, you know what? I'm not ever gonna work at Square, so I can say this: Final Fantasy 13 was shit, and I'll never forgive them for bro. Oh my!
Kez loves Final Fantasy 13.
I didn't love it. It's different. But
I'm sure the story is good.
Yeah, it's titillating. Oh. I'm sorry, man. No.
I haven't really finished it though, so I started playing it and then I stopped. I don't remember why. But I've never really played it since.
You know why? Because it's garbage.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's not. You know what? I like my Final Fantasies were 7 to 10. Those were my most favorite Final Fantasies. Were 7 to 10. So 7, 8, 9, and 10 were actually my ultimate Final Fantasies. They were the best Final Fantasies I've actually ever played. So for me that was where I was like happiest was playing those ones because they were still JRPGs. They weren't going into the
adventure game territory.
Yeah, the adventure, let's all adventure now, oh, it's adventure time. If I want to play an adventure game, I'll buy an adventure game. Final Fantasy is not that game.
Thank you.
But then of course you get the new release of Final Fantasy 7, which I'm not exactly impressed with. I mean, everyone's like, "Oh, the graphics are so pretty. The game is so pretty. Oh, it's such a great game. It's built on this engine, and you can do this kind of fighting, and it's really cool because it's more interactive. You can now run around and actually fight like proper, like you would if you were playing an adventure game." It's like, yeah, but I'm playing it as an JRPG. I don't want to play it like a fucking adventure game. So I've got a big problem with the new Final Fantasy 7, just so you know. Because I don't like the fact that they changed the fight, the way your battles progress. I'm sorry, but you know what? I like turn-based fighting for a reason. I like the game built as a turn-based fighting game because that was what Final Fantasy was all about. It was about you hit that person, they hit you, you time your attacks, you strategize your attacks, and you go in and fuck them up. Simple. It was a really cool way to actually play a game. And then they brought out this new Final Fantasy, and I thought, okay, cool, make the graphics better, make it all decent and stuff like that. But then they started bringing in the fighting style from Final Fantasy 15, which is it's way more, I suppose you can call it Witcher based. Where if I want to play a game like The Witcher, I'll play The Witcher. Where you actually run around fighting with a sword. Yeah, exactly. I love The Witcher. It's a really good game. It's not turn based. It's a very good game though, but it's not turn based.
Very.
So that was what disappointed me, was that they took Final Fantasy and they literally just they made it into a new game. Final Fantasy VII should never have been remade if that was what they were going to do. Should have just stayed as Final Fantasy VII back in the past. But that's my opinion. I also think that Square Enix is out to rip people off, and they're too blind to see it. Because they're like, oh, here we go, we're going to give you Final Fantasy VII
Chapter
Part 1. And we're going to make you pay full price for it.
3, and then Chapter 7 million and billion trillion.
Because what they're doing is they're giving you Final Fantasy VII Part 1. Which means you can now basically disc 1 of the game. Remember the discs? You had 3 discs. Yeah, so you basically got the first disc. You just paid full price for the first disc of Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
Well fucking done. Woo! You are an idiot. That's how I see it. You just paid full price for disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII. You're now going to pay full price for disc 2 and for disc 3. I can tell you now they're going to do that. They're going to fucking butt fuck you, and you're going to just smile and take it. No. I'm sorry, but no. So yeah, I am very, very anal about companies taking advantage of gamers like they do, and Square Enix are the biggest culprit of them all. They actually are the biggest culprit of them all. They're the ones that have actually started seriously, basically ripping off all of the gamers out there, and people are blindly following them because it's Square Enix. It's like, you shouldn't be blindly following them just because that's Square Enix. If they do something wrong, fucking tell them. I watch a guy, Young Yeah. He's one of the content creators on YouTube. He's a very good gaming analyst and reviewer and things like that. And he also agreed that it's what are you doing, Square Enix? Why are you actually trying to rip the players off more? Because basically what you're doing is you're just saying, well, we want more money from you for half a product. So come, give us money. We'll give you that much of the product, but you got to give us more money every single time. So when we upgrade it, we want more money, more money, more money, more money, more money. And he's also got a thing about Final Fantasy Online. He doesn't like it. So yeah. Anyway, enough of my ranting.
Oh man.
What are your opinions on that?
Oh man, So the reason why I always come for Final Fantasy 13 first is exactly what you said. Like, again, I like the story. The story is probably amazing. Probably. I haven't gotten into it. Everyone loves lightning for some reason, so I assume that the story is good. The characters are blah blah. But half of 90% of a game is the gameplay. It doesn't matter how good the story is. And it took Final Fantasy 12. I will allow that, like, it's halfway between. It's halfway between what 15 is doing and what 10 was. 10 fucking amazing. 15, it's basically a button masher. So 12 had a really good middle ground.
So 7.
But 13 just said, okay, you can control one character, and the rest are just dancing next to you. And I'm like, so what?
So annoying.
What? I played for like 3 hours. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? Can I not swap? At some point, I just pressed all the buttons. And at another point, I had to go to fucking Google. You know, back in the day, when you were tired of a game, you went to Cheat Planet. Cheatplanet.com.
Cheat Planet, yeah. That's the only place you can find decent cheats.
You need or full walkthroughs of games. Like, Disney was wild back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no.
So, it's...
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, gone are the days of playing a game, and actually being able to play that game and make mistakes and fuck up. And if you don't save, you're an idiot. Nowadays, it's like, oh, we'll just auto-save for you. You know, it's like, that's one of the things I like about The Witcher as well. It's like they tend to say, like, we're going to remind you to save every once in a while, but we're not going to do it for you. You fucking die, you're done, dude. Especially when you go into the hardcore fighting, you know. So they give you, they do the whole autosave thing on the easier levels, you know, like if you choose song and bards or whatever the hell it is, like the easy one. But if you go past that onto you know, getting a little bit hurt and then going onto blood and broken bones, they don't tell you. You've got to know what you got to do. I like that. Back in the when I was playing games, we never had saves. We couldn't save games. You know, this is going back to like Sonic the Hedgehog and Rockman and Golden Axe and all those games. We never had saves. We had like pass a level, get a code so you can go on to the next level because you can't save. You know, there's no memory cards and stuff like that back when I was a kid. So it was frustrating when you died, but you just carried on. You just did it again. Started all over again, and you did it again and again and again and again, because that's what you do. And nowadays it's all like save and save and save, and it's no longer my kind of gaming. I understand that some people don't want to, but you know, don't go after the people like, for example, the ones who play Dark Souls. Don't go after them and tell them, oh no, well, you shouldn't be telling people to get better at the game. The game should be made easier. No, if you don't want to play the game, then don't fucking play it. But people like Dark Souls because it's so hard. But don't tell them that they have to make it easier for you because you can't finish it.
To be fair, there are some Dark Souls people out there that are quite mean.
No, look, I'm not going to say that there aren't any Dark Souls people out there that are quite mean. There are serious, I'm going to say it hard and I'm going to say it fast, cunts, okay, out there in the Dark Souls community. There actually are. And the whole fact of the matter is you want to treat people like that because they're not good at the game yet, then go fuck yourself. Because to be honest, some people are still trying to get used to the game and trying to get good at the game. It takes time. They're not fucking brilliant as they come in. You know, it's like, you know, you have people like that, and then you have people like Toast who come in and actually help you. You know, they like Toast actually sat down. I shit you not. We sat down and we played Bloodborne, and he actually showed me what I need to do to get through certain parts, so I know how to actually play the game, because it's fucking hard. It's not an easy game. But he came in he jumped in with me, and him and I ran through the game, and he said, this is what you do and this is how you do it to get past these parts. It's difficult, but you will eventually get comfortable with fighting. This is what you should do. Build up your health rather than everything else at the moment. You want to be able to survive a battle, and you won't survive a battle if you have no health to do it with. No matter how strong you are, if you don't at least, you know, if you can't take a hit, you're going to die in seconds. So, you know, and Toast actually guided me through that. So Toast, shot my brie. But you got other people out there who are complete arseholes and who will treat other players like shit just because they're not good at the game yet. And that I don't respect. But at the end of the day, it's a two-way street. Don't kind of go and tell the people who play the game, oh no, you should make it easier because I can't play it. No. I agree. You should probably start practicing and getting better. It's the same thing that they did with Gran Turismo. People are getting pissed off because the game is too hard. It's like the licenses are too hard. I can't pass the licenses. Oh, they're too hard. I'm gonna go and shout and moan and groan on the
shout and moan and groan because the licenses
on the forums and tell Gran Turismo to make the game easier because I can't pass the licenses. Now here's the thing, alright? I haven't been able to pass some of the licenses yet. It doesn't mean I'm gonna stop. I get pissed off. I'm not gonna say I don't. It's fucking frustrating when you keep failing at the license. But I'm not gonna go after fucking Polyphony and say to them, it's your fault. It's your fault that I can't pass the license. No, I'm just not good enough yet. Clearly I'm not good enough at that track. I just keep practicing until I get good. You know, and that's what I believe that Gran Turismo is trying to do. Yeah, exactly. So I don't believe that people should be going after companies for making the game the way they always have. Gran Turismo, I think, has now kowtowed and decided to make the licenses a bit easier, and I don't like it. I liked the fact that Gran Turismo's licenses were difficult. It makes it more challenging, which is what I like, because then it makes me feel like I've actually succeeded.
I think we should let Bill rant for a bit now.
But yeah, Bill, go and rant. Rant.
I haven't played Gran Turismo, but fuck them, I guess.
Not Gran Turismo. They're good. They're good. But yeah, carry on.
I haven't played any racing games in such a long time, and I didn't know about the licensing thing. But yeah, games are. So there are games that are made to be an escape, and there are games that are made to be challenging. Like pick your poison, and don't complain about the others. Don't complain about what's not your cup of tea.
Exactly.
And oh man, it's some people have the belief that you should have the option to have an easy level, and then obviously you scale up to murderous blood or whatever the upper limit of the level difficulty setting is.
Yeah.
But if your game is intended to like really make players throw their controller at the wall from the get-go, there should not be. I mean, it could go from like death to murderous, right? You can have the one that's like challenging, and the one that's
impossible.
only the people the one that's impossible. Like it's designed that you can't get past the first level. That there should be that option for you. Because when you do succeed at the impossible, the fucking no trophy, no game award will give you that kind of gratification. When you destroy something someone said is impossible, fuck, gaming, man, it's a different media altogether. Like the interactivity, the amount of craft and care that goes into making something that someone comes into your world. And they are it's like watching, like, if as a game developer watching a newborn baby just walk and talk for the first time and just learn to stand for themselves. It is like I used to make games like way back in the day. I didn't publish any, but I made them, and a couple of friends played them. And it's just watching your friend figure out how things work and why you made the decisions you made, and them commenting on stuff that you didn't even think that they would notice. Because everything that you put into it is small attention to detail, and it's an accumulation of all of your experience. And so if you've been playing games, for decades, and you don't want to pivot out of that experience that you've been crafting. Like with me, when I came into JRPGs, it took me a long time of navigating other genres to finally get to the point where I'm like, I actually like turn-based games. I like to stop and think about my fights and plan and strategize. Platformers frustrate me a lot.
I think they frustrate us all.
No, I like platformers.
Yeah,
I mean, I play.
Yeah, platformers are great.
They're great. Like that. They're hard, but they're great.
They're great. I remember playing Jack and Daxter for the first time. It wasn't even the full game. This was back when PlayStation 2 had just come out, and they gave you demos with the game, or you bought them. Man, the fucking blue or black bottom discs, man, throwback.
Yeah.
And Jack and Daxter was like, because I went from like playing like Rayman on the PlayStation 1 to playing Jack and Daxter on PlayStation 2, and I was just like, I get it now. The graphics are important. Graphics are important because it's part of that experience, and it's the reason why I won't go back and play games from my childhood, because the way I remember them and the way they are, two vastly different things.
Yeah, they'll change.
Your mind superimposes. Yeah, they like your childhood imagination like builds on whatever was put in front of you to make it a whole lot more enjoyable. And I guess people who are playing.
You'd be surprised with certain games, though.
So,
like,
certain games definitely.
You look at like the games that I played back on NES. Okay, and again, I'm gonna say it like I did before. I played on the original NES, not the one that everyone knows, but the original one that was like designed before the big NES came out. There was a little one that came out that was actually made in Japan, and that was the one that I actually owned. And it was the tiniest little thing, the smallest little thing, and it was so cool. But I played things like Rockman, and that was what it originally was called. Everyone calls it Mega Man now, but it was originally called Rockman, was the actual original game. And those are the kind of platformers that I used to play. And the first Rockman was probably one of the most difficult games I've ever played. Holy crap, it is so hard. If you don't have a save button, it's even fucking harder. But going back to the nostalgia of that, I don't remember it any differently from what I remember it now. So if I play the game now, it's exactly the same as how it was when I was a kid. Only because the game was that well made. You know, you didn't need to use like imagination to be able to actually get that game to be good. The game was just good as it was. The same with Sonic the Hedgehog. You know what the game looked like. You know exactly how it looked, and it was great then. Still great now. I still enjoy the Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles, all those games. I like them. They're cool.
They are cool.
It's about that time. Bill, it's about that time, which means we're going to be having to end the podcast as it is now. It's been over an hour already, so it's about that time we do that. So what we want you to do is plug yourself. Where can our fans find you and all your content?
On social media, not your physical address.
Yeah, don't give out your physical address. We don't want you doxing yourself.
Okay, backspace. Where can you find me? So I've tried to get all my social media under one hashtag or one @handle. So it's Bill Masuku Art, BILLMASUKUART. Slow that down or rewind if you didn't catch that the first time.
It'll
it's
be
on
in the
Instagram,
description.
It's on Twitter, it's on Facebook. Okay, dope. Read the description for people who do read.
It also shows up on the screen above your picture, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
So open your eyes and don't have this on Anchor FM. I mean, if you're listening on Anchor FM, then please rewind. But that's where I listen to it.
Cool.
What else? You can Google me if you want any extra information, and then DM me. I usually reply, but my last job is taking up a lot of time. So if you need to get to me, I will take a couple of days, but I will reply. So questions, comments, theories, if you want to talk about nostalgia, gaming, how to get on this podcast, cheat codes, I got the back door for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It has been a blast talking about comics and games and so on and so forth. Thank you for the book recommendations as well. I'm gonna check those out.
Yeah, definitely. I'll see if at some point I'll get the Dega Care, because it is going to eventually be released and all that stuff, but we'll have to wait on that one, unfortunately. I'll let everyone know, including the fans, when that book is coming out. But yeah, we don't plug ourselves anymore. It's just too much work. There's way too much to actually say, so we've stopped doing it. Except that we are now on Rumble. So you can find us there as well. Our videos are auto-uploaded to Rumble, which means that you will see the podcast the same as you do on YouTube. It's just on Rumble, so you'll see us there. If you want to give us a follow, a like, and or give us a follow and a Rumble, we'd be appreciative, because we like to be on as many platforms as possible. And so far, Rumble is one of the good ones. We've seen that it started picking up great, so picking up better. I'm Englishing very good today. But anyway, guys, Bill, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a hoot and a half. We've had a lot of fun.
Yes, we have.
Me too.
For anyone who's wondering, the delay is only because it's a standard delay. We have that sometimes, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Remember to hit that subscribe button if you really like the video. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the unlike button or dislike button if you didn't like the video, and give us a comment as to why, so we can change what needs to be changed. Anyway, guys, thank you very much, and as always, remember, keep it kicking.